I did not see you there. Well, I'm gonna work on my bike. Come. Okay, now that the cringiness of that intro is over and we can move past that and everything, I want to talk about what I actually am doing to the bike. And I am replacing the shock today. Currently, I have a Fox Float X2, and I really have no issues with the performance on this shock. It's been a great shock, it's done wonders for me, but it has a couple things I'm really not a fan of. One of them is it has a ton of adjustment, and most people would love that. Problem is with the high speed, low speed, rebound adjustments and everything like that, I find myself fiddling with the knobs, and very quickly I can make this shock feel terrible and can never get it back exactly where I liked it before. The other thing is, man, serviceability on this thing is a nightmare. There's a lot of special tools you need. It's actually best just to send the sucker into shock and into Fox, in my opinion, to get it rebuilt, and it can be costly and there's a lot of downtime. And I'm not too into that. So I'm gonna be replacing it, but what with? You probably know because the title of the video. So I'm going DVO. Let's talk about it. Cool. So I'm going to be doing the DVO Topaz T3Air. And when you get one, it comes in this really sick pistol case here. And you open this sucker up and reveal all the goodies. Pull this out. Nobody needs the manual. You get some tuning bands for just changing the volume. Sticker, everyone loves stickers. What I love is it comes with this gnarly awesome DVO shock pump. And it comes with, obviously, the shock. If it didn't, you're gonna have issues. So with this shock, you're gonna have a 3-position lever instead of having the high speed and low speed compression adjustments. And then you have rebound. And then it's air, so of course you can adjust the air pressure, all that good stuff. Pull the can, put the bands in, and adjust how progressive the shock is. However, DVO does this really cool thing where if you talk to them really, really nicely, they're more than happy to take your shock and custom tune it. So when I bought the shock, I talked to them very, very nicely, and they custom tuned it according to my weight and my bike, which pivot Switchblade, and my riding style, and what I wanted for the shock. So that is a really cool service, and that was no additional charge. I believe they'll do it if you buy it elsewhere for the cost of shipping. So that's really rad. The shock itself feels really good. I mean, DVO is a quality company, there's no doubt about that, and they have awesome cooling fins on this piggyback here, so you don't have to worry about overheating and losing that consistency in the shock like you may with other brands. I'd like to talk a little bit about the really cool techie stuff, but to do that, I need to bring one of my friends in who is a DVO fanboy. All right, so with me, I have Tom Mitchell. You're our local DVO fanboy, and he is a mechanical engineer student at the University of Wyoming.
How's it going, guys?
Don't talk to him, just listen. He's an engineer, he doesn't have any social skills at all. Okay, anyway, so Tom, tell us about DVO, tell us why this shock is so rad.
So DVO's company started from a bunch of the old Marzocchi guys. They've been around a while, they know what they're doing. But with like the Topaz, DVO does a few things different than every company other than I believe Olin's, and they use a bladder instead of an IFP, and that's going to give you a lot better small bump sensitivity. You're missing a little bit of that stiction from that piston, so you get better small bump sensitivity, which is great in a rear shock, especially air shocks where you have that air seal stiction. And then every single shock of theirs is using shim and needle dampening, which I won't get too technical into it, but it's essentially a bleed port and then flexing metal shims to adjust your compression and rebound on those.
And if I'm right, you can adjust the air pressure in that bladder to work better for different weights of riders, right?
Yeah, so that's going to be weights. It affects compression a little bit, and it can add a little bit of bottom out progressivity on top of what you can get out of the air spring already.
So what made you fall in love with DVO so much?
So first shock I ever had for them was a Jade. I actually got it with a bike I bought. The performance far outdid any other shock I had, Fox, Manitou. I had a Vivid at one point, and it was just amazing performance out of the shock. Then after that, I went, put it on my other bikes, got an Emerald, got an Onyx. Just about all my shocks now are custom tuned from them, and it's some of the best feeling suspension I've ever ridden and some of the easiest to service as well.
Yeah, and that's a big deal to me, is serviceability. I mean, a lot of the piggyback shocks like this are super easy, but you get your bigger air can style like the Float X2 or the Vivid Airs, and the serviceability becomes, it's a lot harder to do. And I'm not looking for that. I'm very crunched on time for anything, and I don't want downtime, because who does? But being a student and a father of two and a husband and all that good stuff, I just don't have as much time as I'd like. So that time I'd really like to just spend riding. So I think that's a fair reason alone to get away from the Float X2 and go to something a little more serviceable. And the fact that, Tom basically just like hyped him up so much to me. I did my research. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot. So here we are now, and I think it's time to install it. What do you think?
Agreed. Let's get this puppy on there.
Let's get it on. All right, it's all mounted up and ready to go. Looking good on there. Like I said, I switched out the shock that had a ton of adjustments for one with the 3 switch lever to adjust the compression. Went open, medium, and firm. And also something a lot more serviceable and has a custom tune. So the only thing left to do is go get it out on the trails. So let's go ride. So after spending some time on the trails with the Topaz, I've got to say I really like it. It's very supportive when pedaling, even in open mode. I actually rode everything in open mode with no issues. When I did switch to like that mid-firm compression, I didn't really feel any difference, but there was a huge difference when I went down to that climb switch or that full firm compression. It really brought out the good pedaling characteristics of my bike, which was awesome. Something else I noticed is that at slow speeds and everything, it felt really good, but it really felt good and really shined through as soon as I hit some speed. The faster I went, the smoother and the better it felt, which I'm a fan of. That's great. This might be partially due to the custom tune I have on it, and a stock shock might not be quite as inspiring, but with the tuning services that DVO offers, there's no reason to not take advantage of that and get the shock feeling the way you'd like it. Just make sure you communicate and tell them exactly what you're looking for. That way you don't end up with a race tune that is really planted and holds the line when you're looking for something that you want to be playful and poppy and get air with. If I had to ding anything on this shock right off the bat, it's that there was no mounting hardware, which you just use the stuff that came off of it. But in my case, I had to remove a couple bushings and use something different to work. And the other thing is that their starting point for air pressure is just that, a starting point. It was pretty far off. I had to add a ton of air. And that is what it is. That kind of comes with any shock. You just got to get it set up the way you like it. I'd say at $500, I am so happy with this purchase. It was a great investment, and for that price point, it is actually less expensive than the RockShox Super Deluxe piggyback or that Float DPX, whatever it is now. I think that's what it's called. And I couldn't be happier thus far. More time on the trail will give me a better, will paint a better picture for me, and we'll see then. But for right now, I am stoked on this shock. I'm sure that I missed a lot of information that you may have questions on, so just hit me up in the comments section and I'll try to answer them as best as I can or direct you to the best possible answer. And if you liked what you saw, give me a like, a subscribe, that'd be great. And as always, thanks for watching. All right, again, Tom, high priest of the DVO cult here, and his bikes, and this is what the indoctrination of DVO looks like. Emerald, Jade, Onyx, Jade, Garnet, pretty much the entire DVO lineup there. I wasn't kidding when I said fanboy.